everyone, welcome to this month's Love Party members meeting. We're here in Lynn's house and Lynn is due back any moment now. She's on a homeschooling assignment with her children. So we felt it was really important actually for us to gather in person. So anyway, before we get into the detail, we're just going to do a short alignment. Just so that we fully land in the space. And it's always a very good discipline in any meeting, whether it's online or in person, just to spend a few moments and to fully land in the space. So if you can just sit up with your spine straight, both feet flat on the floor, uncross, and just close your eyes and just take a few moments to take a few deep breaths in through the nose and blowing out slowly over the bottom lip, which is a way of just calming the nervous systems. Taking 3 long deep breaths and consciously dropping from mind into heart, into the body, noticing the chair beneath you, the earth beneath your feet, the support of Mother Earth, the support of nature, bringing yourself out of everything that happened today up to the moment of the call, and not focusing on, I should say, fully being in the present moment as opposed to what is happening after today's call, so that we can be fully present in the current moment, just getting to that 0 point place of the now moment, which is where all of the power is. And I'm just going to, we've been having a chat this afternoon out in the garden about where we're at with everything. And one of the themes of the conversation chimed with something which Simon posted, which I would love to read out, which you may or may not have seen. And this is especially appropriate because I've just come back from a shamanic retreat, and it's a reading from a Native American Indian, John Fire Lame Deer. And this, so I'm just going to read this to you. And it could be the essence of our prospectus, our manifesto. Before our white brothers arrived to make us civilized men, we didn't have any kind of prison. Because of this, we had no delinquents. Without a prison, there can be no delinquents. We had no locks nor keys, and therefore among us there were no thieves. When someone was so poor that he couldn't afford a horse, a tent, or a blanket, he would in that case receive it all as a gift. We were too uncivilized to give great importance to private property. We didn't know any kind of money, and consequently the value of a human being was not determined by his wealth. We had no written laws laid down, no lawyers, no politicians. Therefore, we were not able to cheat and swindle one another. We were really in bad shape before the white men arrived, and I don't know how to explain how we were able to manage without those fundamental things that, so they tell us, are so necessary for a civilized society. So thank you, Simon, for posting that. And I just want to share on a personal level, having been on this week-long retreat, really doing shamanic work. It really is about becoming one with nature and realizing that we are nature, not just going into nature. We are at our essence nature. And what has been created for us over the past years, decades, and certainly since the Industrial Revolutions, has been a kind of false matrix of everything corporate, everything dictated by money. And it's very interesting to consider. And I know many people are starting to unplug from the system and go off grid. And we've got a guy at Crestbrook at the moment who's part of the van life community, just unplugging from the system and reconnecting to nature. So we're at a very interesting time, and our senses. One of the things that we discussed was, rather than to consider the political system as it is and how we might fit into that, that a far more powerful and radical approach would be if there was a blank sheet of paper and we were to sit down and reimagine how we could organize ourselves as society. What would it look like? What would the justice system look like? What would education look like? What would health look like? So this was the kind of the thread of our conversation this afternoon, about, rather than being incremental or even focusing any energy on what is wrong with the current system, to actually start from that place of a radical, inspirational, visionary possibility, and not being too attached to, will people get it, or what if we alienate the electorate, or not even any attachment to winning, just to purely come from that visionary place of, if anything were possible, what would we co-create? And obviously there are many people in the space now who are doing amazing work, so it's not about completely reinventing the wheel. But I know, I mean, particularly you, Julie, you've been connecting with a lot of people who are already in the space, and all of these amazing visionary co-creators who are actually doing, who are, just people like the People's Health Alliance, the Food and Farming Alliance, and not placing too much energy on fighting the old, and this has been one of the themes of the Vote Love channel, is kind of pulling away from the problem and focusing our energy on the problem and fighting the old, and trying to shift our focus onto visioning and co-creating this new golden era, which is an awakening of consciousness. And I so clearly saw it this week, during all of the shamanic journey in the past week, so clearly seeing that we are collectively birthing a new golden era where everything is being reimagined. So that's kind of my opening share. So Julie, handing over to you.
Yes, so we've had a very interesting discussion of what that blank sheet is all about, and the way that, yes, we'll have stuff that comes up that we just need to, and right, done with that. Now our main focus is this: how is my energy best used? And as Rachel said, since the election results were all announced, I'm amazed at just how many people I've had contact with that have been approaching me, and I've been going to some different events and things in the community, and I've realised that what I'd been doing up until the last 3 years is I'd been very much more sort of nationally out there in different roles. Like, I was Shiatsu Society Director, I was the UK representative for the European Shiatsu Federation, I was a Vice President for the Federation of Holistic Therapists, but that wasn't so much on the local level. Before those years, I did set up a healing group up in Mansfield, but that is years and years ago. And what I need to do now is really get to those grassroots people, and that is what's starting to happen. And so I'm going to different community groups, and I'm amazed how many people sort of, oh, are you that Julie Tasker that was in the mayor election? And then they get talking to me, and it's like, oh, you're a real person. And that's what we need to be, real people, and help to connect properly with them. And they do seem to be starting to get it. So I'm really feeling very optimistic, and that is my focus.
And I really, again, on a personal level, I'm just so treasuring real human contact. and to obviously we're using online platforms like Zoom, but it's just so powerful to meet in person. And I always find that when we do our stand in the park, and it doesn't actually matter how many people turn up, even if it's just a couple of us or a few of us, it's just so beautiful to have this in-person contact. So this is the feeling, is very much obviously we're visioning the 2024 general election, and the possibility of having a Love Party candidate in every constituency, which is, I think, is 630 or something like that, maybe a little less because we're not in Northern Ireland. But that possibility of right away forming these local community groups, and they may be built out of Stand in the Parks or Rebels on Roundabouts or whatever's existing, but to create even a small local activist group that is political in essence, that can be the kind of campaign team to support you or whoever is the candidate for the Love Party in that region, and to really encourage creating these support groups to support that political campaign when the time comes. I mean, certainly I really, really appreciated everyone who came to help me, and we came to help you do your leaflets, and it just so helps to have that kind of practical support on the ground.
And I would say a non-political party, and that is the terminology I use with people. So we want to be here and inspiring people, and you don't need to even think, oh, what if I don't get many votes? You should get at least one, because you'll be voting for yourself. And most of things that we've had so far haven't needed to even pay a deposit. But the more we can get out there and get people knowing this grassroots approach, this blank sheet approach, and because it'll just get out there more. And
this could well be part of your local building of a community and building support, is to actually to kind of crowdfund it from the local community to get support to actually stand, because it's £500 to stand. But the good thing about paying the £500 is you get a free leaflet drop.
Mine wasn't free.
Well, you get a Royal Mail leaflet drop. You have to pay for the leaflets. That's the only caveat. So depending on how big your constituency is, like for example Derbyshire Dales, where I am, is 60,000. So probably you're talking about 4 or 5p. So you probably have to find £2,000 or £3,000 depending on the size of your constituency.
Well, what I had to do was pay for a legally required document. So we perhaps need to look into that on different roles. And they at first told me that there wasn't that requirement, so we do need to make sure on that one, don't we?
But what I'm saying is to actually, rather than wait for when the general election is announced, to start creating that community early on, so that it's formed and it's building, and it can actually be a support group to finance standing as well as the campaigning, and to have, so that you have a team, even if it's a handful of people.
And you've
here we go.
You've got a team nationally with us anyway, but also to have a team locally.
In the middle, hey?
Will be amazing. So, right, do you want to say anything, Lynn, or shall we go to some of the others first?
Are we talking about?
Just a quick where you're at, because we just shared where we're at, a bit of what we discussed today.
Yes. Where I'm at, I'm far more stagnated by the lack of movement with the Electoral Commission than I should be. So I'm really pleased to see Rachel and Julie to get me back on things. But so I've been taking the time to sort get myself in order, my house and my physical fitness, get them in order, because I think it's going to be a really big push next year, and I think we should really make sure that we are, all of us in the peak physical condition, house sorted, finances sorted, get everything ready, and we can really go for it with the 2024 general, because it's pretty certain to be next summer. Apparently the Tories like to hold elections in the summer because they get more voters out. More of their old deers come out in the summer, apparently. That's the gossip. So it's
I do feel that there's been a sort of energy influence on people this last month of doing the sorting the house out, and like
big
the spring
time.
cleaning time.
There's been a big push for that sort of, but I don't know whether that was something
it's happening with so many people though that are spontaneously telling me.
Some area of your life has got to be sorted out, and with me it was the house. I got a Marie Kondo woman to come in for 2 days and sort out quite a lot of the stuff some of it's been haunting me for ages. I mean, a lot of my life's in real alignment, but not organising things is not my forte, and it was something that I've got someone into doing. It was my kids were so thrilled with it to have some movement on that front, and now I can see where I'm going, and it really does help. It really does help. Yeah.
Julie, come in a bit so you're more in the camera.
Right. We're going to go to people.
Yeah. So I'm just going to switch the chat on so we can see if there's any chat. So would anyone like to come on the call and share where they're at, any thoughts, feelings about what's unfolding, or questions, or your views on what we should.
Yep, Carrie.
Oh, sorry, Carrie. Yes.
Oh, Carrie's there. Carrie sent us a wonderful letter, which I haven't yet shown. Sorry, Julie and Rachel. She sent us a Loveland newspaper that they've done,
okay.
And I've still got it. It's in the drawer just over there. I haven't yet shown them. Oh, I'll go and get it. Just show everybody.
Okay, Carrie.
Wonderful.
So yeah, you've unmuted yourself. So I'm going to put you on speaker view so we can see you.
Yes, I haven't even got around to messaging Carrie to say how lovely it is.
If everyone can keep yourself muted unless you're speaking, please, because that way we can keep the call.
Do you want to see?
So,
Carrie going to speak?
Carrie.
As you know, I'm kind of 100% with you, and everything that you say and everything that you stand for is just exactly what I do and what I feel and what I think and what I know. And in that particular paper that was produced by a photography student when he spent a year just coming up to Loveland and interviewing people and getting getting the feel of the place and the connection with nature. And he actually said something interesting. He said, what we're doing at Loveland, growing food for the community, he said it's a kind of activism, because it's, we're not standing on the soapbox saying this is what we should do. We're actually doing it, and more and more people are coming along and going, wow, this is amazing. And we've got Herb Garden, where there's a lovely lady who makes all these remedies and things, and we're growing heritage grains, and we've got a group doing that, and we've got students who come in, textile students, who are looking at the flax to see if they can sort that out and maybe make something from it. And we've got a commercial plot which feeds several groups of people on a weekly basis, and we've got a little veggie stall out on the road, and I can see that even in the last month things have taken off. I think you probably agree with me that it seems that suddenly so many people are thinking, right, we need to get back to literally the grassroots. I'm not having my child educated like that. I'm taking her out of school. I'm going to start growing my own stuff. I haven't got a very big garden, but I'm going to do it. And it's small things, but it's kind of connecting, like joining the dots, and it's gathering momentum. And lots of people have said, I can feel it. I can feel that something is growing, something is happening. And I met a lady only the other evening when I went to a little theatre event, and sat at her table, and in the interval, she just said something, and I realised that she knew what was going on. And then she said something about the spiritual aspect of it as well, because it's not all about fighting the corporates, and there's a lot more going on. And I just turned around to her and we just hugged each other, and I went, wow. So I found out that she lives locally, so I'm going to meet her on Thursday, which is fantastic because I can find lots of people who understand on a more of a mundane level what they should be doing, but it's more difficult to find people who understand it on a deeper level. But I think that's going to happen as well.
You know, you're so right, Carrie. I noticed that as well. I had a call with William Keats. Sorry, William Keats. I keep calling him the wrong name. And he is going to give us a talk about the Constitution and common law and the importance of that. And I was absolutely blown away because he then started talking to me about how this had come from spiritual law. And how much sense it made and how the common law was actually inevitable and undisputable because of this need for spiritual law, and how it was so important for, if we were going to apply common law, that people could do the shadow work first and get rid of the things that were stopping them, that were making them hold themselves back, really, that were making them give themselves over to other people to control. And so to take our power back, we had to first do the shadow work. And I was just blown away that that from this very legalistic, what I thought was a very 3D type of sort of subject, I suppose, you know, legislation versus common law, that actually he's saying, no, this common law comes right from the energy of the universe, the spiritual, and we have to do the energy work to make common law. If we're going to use common law, we've got to do that first, else nothing's going to happen. So I was really impressed with that. And like you say, I think other people are starting to see the spiritual aspect of even mundane things, but I don't think they're mundane at all. I think it's miraculous, of growing your own things. I've been watching my seeds come up the last few weeks. It's just been, I always love it, always watch them and think it's little miracles. And I've just hatched some chicks, and they are, you know, little bundles, little miracles all to themselves, a little circle of life, and the kids are mesmerized. So I think all this is very important. And what you said about it being a rebellion or a activism, it absolutely is. It's and it's sort of the most powerful sort, because it's taking our power back without doing anything violent, anything wrong, without doing anything to harm ourselves, or, you know, and actually make ourselves healthier and more, well, what would we say, more connected to the earth, more feeling better, feeling more vital. And just by looking after ourselves, we are actually, you know, yes, we are taking our power back, and we're taking it away from them. And by doing that, we're actually having little victories every time we do it. Every time. It's like the easiest rebellion ever. All we've got to do is be great to ourselves and get happy. It's
I think you made a really good point there that William Keats said, and I really got this from doing the shamanic work, is that if we do, and I know from having trained in trauma for I did a 4-year professional training, is that if we have got any unresolved trauma, it will play out in the persecutor, victim, rescuer drama triangle. And so it's very easy for the false matrix to hook us back into this drama triangle of fight, 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 and being the victim to this external forces. And so it's really important that we keep turning to the light, and we keep empowering ourselves to and liberating ourselves and healing ourselves, which we can do through all forms of plant medicine, which is growing your own food, is eating from the land, foraging. Super powerful.
I found mushrooms today. I found mushrooms in May, loads of them.
Someone at the door.
Someone at the door, right.
Yeah, so it's something to, and I have sort of pulled up a couple of things of like, let's not get involved in that persecutor, victim, rescuer drama triangle, because it does pull you in, and it's a waste of energy. It takes you down into a kind of spiral of negativity.
I love that term activism as well, so thank you very much for that. I've written that one down. Because the word rebellion will society-wise
Or resistance. We don't need
Yeah.
those. They're sort of pulling back terms, aren't
that
they? Whereas
puts
activism is a
people off.
positive
Yeah,
term.
activism I
Yeah.
find a helpful term. So thank you.
Need that, yeah.
Right, so are we going to change from? Is that all you
That's-
needed to say there?
Thanks, Carrie.
Yeah.
It's great to see
Lovely.
Loveland doing well. I think we'd like to come and see it at some point if you're willing to do a tour. Did she hear me?
Yes, please do.
Yeah,
You'll be very welcome anytime.
thank you.
Obviously, summertime's the best.
Oh, yes, well.
But I sort of did put out an invitation at the beginning, but it's only, I understand you're really busy, but I would just love to meet you.
It's sort of the most important aspect of what we do, really. It's getting to see each other. We've decided, I think being in person, for a start, that's different to any other party, I think. But I think it's also the thing that will connect us up more effectively than anything else that we do.
And something we mentioned today was that we're going to have some regular sort of, possibly not every month, but every other month at the least, if we can, of in person, at least one of us three, with as many members as we can. But
In different parts of the country. We'll put out a timetable and see if we can just get people, even if it's only, say, 3 or 4 coming along just to say hello, just so we can all connect up and get ideas and bounce off each other and get the group energy going.
A bit like a UK tour, and then we can look and see, because I know, for example, we've got loads of members in Devon, so that would be a logical, obvious place for us to start. To actually come out to Devon and have a community group meeting and meet in person. It's just so important that we come off digital and into real.
But digital is wonderful, because otherwise we wouldn't have met any of you lot.
Yeah.
So but we need some in-person stuff as well. So we are going to try and sort some dates between us with different places, and so hopefully people will be able to come and meet up with us. Right. Is there anyone else that would like to say something more?
Simon, do you want us to come on?
Well, I'd just like to
It's Roger.
fortify your idea about, this is Roger, about having meetups. But of course, it has to be strategically planned so that we're not travelling too far too many times. I mean, I don't mind travelling a distance from time to time, but it would be nice to have such a meeting in York.
Yeah.
And I'd be very happy to organise that.
Yeah,
That'd be
we're
great.
talking about us coming to you, not expecting everyone to go to different places.
I mean,
No, I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. So really, what I've just offered is that I would arrange a venue.
You're
Well,
on my
people-
list, Roger. I've got you down. You're on my list now, so
Or is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I'd say that's a
Brilliant.
good thing. Yeah.
Is it a kind of list like the mafia have?
No, it's a list that says you've offered to help.
It's the making a multitasking list. Okay.
Okay, look, okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean that would be lovely, and I'm sure I'd get quite a lot of people in this area who would like to meet you all.
Yeah. Brilliant.
I must admit, so far I haven't really given the Love Party much publicity. I could have done today. I met a group today, and I could have done, but I certainly will do next time.
Start sneaking us out there, and when we've got you a date, well, you can tell them we are going to be coming to you, and then you can prepare them for when we've got the date sorted, can't you?
Yeah, well,
Brilliant.
that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, Julie.
Yeah, part of the publicity thing, Roger, I think what holds us all back a little bit, and it shouldn't do, but it does, it's the Electoral Commission thing. And
Well, that's not holding me back.
Oh,
I'm fed
no,
up with
well,
it now. I've decided that's
But I don't feel like it, and it's entirely my energy. It's entirely my fault to that this, that I'm not doing the energy work to get rid of it. But it doesn't. It's not. I'm not full steam ahead at the minute.
Thankfully,
completely that.
I'm
You're
one of the
okay.
ones that I've not been as involved as you have, though. So
Yeah.
I've done what I've had to, but thankfully.
But I mean,
yeah.
I have. What it means is I haven't gone and got T-shirts printed, or I haven't done cards, and I haven't done.
Get them done. You've got to manifest them. definitely.
Oh, I mean, it's easy to do. It's just
Yeah,
that
we go to Brian.
I haven't put.
We go to
I
Brian.
want
Yeah.
to be able to say registered political
No,
party.
well, don't.
Okay, but I want
Get
to be
it
able
out
to.
there. Well, don't.
Excuse me.
How's the registration going?
Okay.
How's the registration going? Are we any nearer?
Well, we're
with
going
the
to
election?
go to Brian next because he's had his hand for a bit.
We don't know.
But we'll tell
Sorry,
you.
Roger,
Yeah.
we don't know yet. They should be telling us any day now. They're almost at the end of their 6 weeks. They're obviously taking it to the wire. So yeah, we just have to wait.
Anyway, just finally, I'm on board. Confluence with your ideas.
Thank you.
Back to nature. That's me. That's where I want to be.
Totally.
And I've got 2 raised beds going in my community, and when we start being, harvesting the fruit, the food, the vegetables, I think there'll be a lot more interest. I think that's what people are waiting for.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, right. Okay, Brian, step
Okay.
on board.
We'll come to Brian and then we'll come to you, Simon, if that's okay.
Hello, yes. How are you all? You're all looking amazing. Well done for coming today and doing this, helping us all out. Yes, amazing content you're putting out at all levels. Thank you, Rachel. I'm just loving all of it. Yes, because I'm a spiritual being, aren't I? Yes, that religious stuff is man-made and can be corrupted, but I'm natural spiritual and it's natural law. It is not rocket science, is it? But you girls are amazing and you're bringing it to the rest of the world, and all you need is love. Yes, I'm just still getting on this stuff, isn't it? Liberation. I mean, that's amazing, isn't it? If you can start focusing on this in the morning when you're getting up and you're starting your day, this is just the sort of thing that you need in the morning to get you going, isn't it? Opportunity, isn't it? Yes, vitality. We could all do with a bit of that, isn't it? And if I got off my arse and do some breathing and some exercise and got into the community, I could get a bit of vitality and that would empower me, wouldn't it? So yes, that is amazing what you girls are doing. And I just hope us men can help. I'd like to do something here in my community here, isn't it? Yes, you've got some amazing stuff going on there, and Rachel's got that magic water thing there. I'd love to come and visit that.
Let's do that.
But I need my own here, don't I? But that's another story. What I did want to say was, yes, I sort of sing a song as a party piece. Jerusalem. It's an old song, a sort of English sort of patriotic song. And some of the lyrics in there, it's against satanic mills, isn't it? So back in the day, there was these guys that set up these mills, isn't it? Because they got some wind and some water stuff going on, and they could produce this stuff. But it was the management that we disagree with, really, isn't it? It's not the technology so much. It is the people behind them technologies, these tools. We realise, because we're enlightened human beings, that these things are tools, aren't they? And they don't own us, we own them, and that is sort of the empowerment. So this stuff has been going on for a lot of years, hasn't it? But we are all waking up, and I think that's amazing what you're doing. And you're right, it is in every community that we have to do this.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going to be pushing for the Love Party here. I think it's amazing. I know people are slow to catch on, but when they really get it, it never leaves you. So there's no going back, is there? So you can only get stronger, and pushing forward makes you stronger. You girls are prolific, passionate. And yes, I just love your content, and that's all I had to say, really. Just keep pushing forward.
Thank you.
And yes,
Yeah.
keep these meetings going and more of them.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, Brian. We do need to do more, and we will have to. Where are you based, Brian, please?
I mean, yes, I've come back to my home little village. Well, it's not so little anymore. Knaphill, Woking,
Okay.
Surrey.
All
So
right.
I'm in Surrey. Yes, Magna Carta down the road, Runnymede. Yes, yes, Guildford is my city.
Runnymede. That would be a meeting place. Very symbolic. Okay, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Okay, Brian.
Yeah, so just going on what Brian's just been saying, in my house, I've got some heart-shaped post-its, and I've written liberation, opportunity, vitality, empowerment. I've got one on my front door, so everyone who comes to my front door and goes out of that front door will see it. I've got one at the side of my bed. I've got one in the kitchen, and if there was somewhere else that I thought people would come to regularly, I would have it there as well. And I've also got one of my leaflets in my sort of therapy room, if we call it that, my garden room.
Yes.
And so people...
Amazing. Well, I suggest that everybody starts really getting into that, because that is actually very powerful and very amazing. Because I had my own affirmations, but adding these ones to it is amazing.
And have it somewhere that people will...
Yes, well done.
And then subliminally, they will be getting it anyway. And also, it is well recognised that you need to have the sort of unbroken record in people's lives for an amount of time. Used to think 3 years, but I feel the energy of the world's changing. So we don't need to limit it to 3 years. But keep that unbroken record of those 4 words, love party. Keep getting it out there as much as you can, as often as you can, in ways that are respectful, without people even...
That is brilliant. Yes. Can I just say something as a joke? Because I sort of do...
Brian, can we come to other people and we'll come back to you because
absolutely.
More voices.
Yes, all right. Thank you so much. Yes, you carry on. Thank you, girls.
Okay,
brilliant.
Let's come to Simon. It's always good to hear from you, Simon.
Hi. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I was a town councillor for 6 years, and I became a town councillor like you do when you first get involved. I have no idea what was involved, but I really thought being a town councillor or any sort of councillor was what you're talking about. But then I discovered it's just all about controlled opposition. It's all about, all the political parties are about how to do whatever they do within the context of the existing system. None of them actually challenge the system.
Yeah. Oh, that's so right. That was exactly the argument I had with my the person I was standing against. I said, you know, it's not you personally, and it's not. I said it's just how Rushcliffe comply unquestioningly with everything that government puts down to them. I said, you are not there to serve the government. You're there to serve the people, and this is what a lot of them just don't realise. And I know I can see how easy it is to get hooked in. They sort of give you these talks when you become a councillor, you know, this is how you do it, and this is how you do this, and this is how you do that, and not many of them stop and go, why? You know, doesn't suit us. Sorry, Simon, carry on.
Well, if you want to find 600 odd candidates, you need to find them where they live, within the communities. And the best way to do that is like you're doing, from the grassroots bottom up. What are you saying, about £1,000 each as a budget?
As a minimum, I would.
Minimum.
£500 deposit, and then probably about that for the leaflets. Yeah.
Well, I've got a suggestion on how to raise that in every community without just asking for donations. I'm incorporating something I'm doing called Let's Get Dizzy, do something for somebody else, pronounced dizzy. And I'm basically just reinventing Bob a Job. The idea is there'll be a database of things that people want done, whatever it might be. And then people will volunteer and go and do it, and the recipient will make a donation to the project of the provider's choosing. So it would be very obvious for our project to be raising funds to stand in an election.
Okay. Does anybody else have on the sort of round robins emails, and also a website called Nextdoor? It's like a community website for your very local area. I know our village has a sort of Nextdoor now. Mostly it's a whinging shop. which is
It's
very
very
nice. Like,
controlled.
oh, they've got fireworks going off tonight, and it's not even the 5th of November. It's normally what the sort of thing is. But sometimes you get some good stuff on there, like kids putting out, "I'd like a job. Could anyone help me?" That sort of thing. And I think it would be useful to have something on there.
Sure, but if you drill down, it's entirely commercial. It's owned by the same old.
Oh, it's right. Okay, but I mean, it does seem to reach a lot of people, a lot of very mainstream people. I mean, very, very mainstream people.
I would say it's probably a different thing in different places, because I know the one that in Mansfield, it's not really that sort of place that people would want to do that.
Because this is like a village Facebook almost, it seems to be. But and I just thought, rather than, because obviously there are a lot of people who won't look at a political party, and certainly won't look at one that's not mainstream, but they would look at, say, the Nextdoor Digest and just a Bob a Job site that had no particular affiliation.
But that's a great idea, Simon, to start that movement of that energy of, right, we'll do some energy exchange,
how are we going to get it?
and get some people to pay in for things like that.
But I just would like to say about Nextdoor, I've put some posts on there which have been quite activist deleted. It's got the same levels of censorship as a mainstream.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
media.
but a Bob a Job wouldn't be.
Yeah, but I'm
censored,
just
unless it was
saying
obviously
that discernment about all of these false matrix channels that are.
I think we're going to have to go into these dark places, though. Otherwise, you're not going to ever get to the people that use those.
Well,
things,
we'll do it in the way that feels right, and every locality is different.
Can I just raise a really important point here? Is that this is my humble opinion. If we are standing for a visionary future that is about doing things differently, personally, I feel that being in the World Economic Forum channels and kowtowing to those, it's not the right fit for us. Which is why I'm just saying about unplugging from digital and actually doing stuff in the community, because that is the one thing that trumps the whole digital. Because this is the 4th industrial revolution. It's digital everything. It's total control through AI and digital facial recognition. That has to be unplugged at the most fundamental level, and the way to do that is to get back to human interaction where we can. So it is tempting to be in this digital world, but the more that we can unplug from that and not be tempted to use these tools of the mainstream and the World Economic Forum, because they're taking us into it's a slippery slope. That's just my soapbox on it.
Okay, I know what you're saying. I think we can. I'm happy to weaponize their weapons against them, as they have done. I mean, as they've done effectively. They've weaponized everything against us: our NHS, our police, our government, everything. And I'm totally happy to use their channels to stick one on them if we're going to get combated. But that said, I do think there's a lot to be said for going down to your local bus shelter and sticking a notice on it, and I think that sometimes that gets a lot more it feels a lot different to and it's a lot, he says it's a lot more connected. It's a lot more connected than when you do digital. Digital seems to be this sort of false world, doesn't it? People are happy to insult people like they never would face to face. It's an impersonal world. Whereas even just a notice on a lamppost or something is far more engaging, I think, these days.
Also, different things for different people.
Simon, did you want to speak some more, or Prakash, do you want to come on? Simon, are you complete?
No, well, all I was saying is that all these tools are benign. It's how you use them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and we need to just do what feels right for each of us and different circumstances, etc. Yeah.
Prakash, should we come to you? If you can unmute.
Sorry, that's it. That's it. Sorry. Yeah, no, I think there's a lot to be said about being in person and how we've kind of inadvertently over the last 30 years been drawn into this digital world. I've recently had a little side project going on I'm aware that I carry my phone around everywhere, and I'm attached to my laptop, and the challenge I put to a lot of people in my stand in the park is, can you come out without your phone? You know, because I think there's a freedom that comes in not carrying your phone around you.
That's so
and,
good.
and so I've been doing some research on de-Googled phones. So how do you come out of Google? How do you come out of Apple? How do you come out of Microsoft? Can you live without those three entities? And discovered that, like, for example, most of us have got banking apps, and you can't, all the banking apps are approved by Google, you see, so you can't operate in the modern world without this. And I think the challenge now, and it's becoming very, very clear as the crash unfolds, and I think there is a crash unfolding, nothing works anymore, and more and more things are not working, that the way forward is almost like reinventing more earthy things, be it growing your own vegetables, or returning to sound money, or doing things that are much more personable, and putting these electronic devices in their place. And I think they do have a place in our world, but not as big a place as they've ended up having in our world.
Exactly. Oh no,
So
we've sort of been having that conversation, haven't we?
Mm.
I just want to say, Rakesh, I do not have a banking app. I ring my bank and tell them what to do, and I have a lovely little chat with most of them a lot of the time. And I have two bank accounts. The other one has because I don't have the banking app, sent me a dongle so that I can get a code. So yeah, it's my little stand. It means that they have to keep somebody employed to talk to me, and they and they do, and I
But
find
I
it
have
a lot.
known banks that won't
And
let
it's
you
actually
carry on with it.
Well, mine
Yeah.
does. So I don't have one, and I have a de-Googled phone. It's called Clearphone. It's a different. It's not Android. It's not Apple. It's a Clearphone, and it's got its own set of apps and things like that. It's actually quite advanced now. It's very. They usually have their own version of, or their own compatible versions of, say, things like WhatsApp and Signal and things like that. That can.
We'll come to you, Carrie, in a sec.
That can. What would I say? Yeah, you can hardly tell the difference. And for the ones where you can only get stuff off Google Play, there is a workaround. There's a package of apps that you can access. Now, Clearphone has a funny, almost like a Ponzi system where you buy the phone. If I recommended it to you and you bought it off me, I would get some money, but in a Bitcoin thing, so I wouldn't have a clue how to use it anyway. So I've never got anyone to do it. And the person who sold it to me would also get some of that money in that currency. So it's actually actually really good. It works. It was a little bit clunky. My phone's 2 years old now, and it was a bit clunky when it was starting out, and I think it's a lot better now. But that's an option if anyone's looking for a de-Googled phone. Of course, if you're going to de-Google on a PC, you get rid of Windows and everything, and you go onto Linux and use open source software. That's another thing. Sorry, who are we going to now? Roger.
Well, no,
Carrie
Carrie got her hand up.
Carrie,
and I think it was something related to what we were talking about.
Carrie, did you have something?
Yeah.
I hope it's useful or relevant. I'm a bit of a dinosaur when it comes to the modern age and technology. I was born in 1948, so it doesn't gel.
You're here using sophisticated video conferencing technology.
Exactly. Yes, it has uses, but quite a lot of people now are doing a sort of bartering system, which is a good basis. If we find ourselves not able to get our cash or something like that happening, and other people in this area, probably in most places, if they grow a lot of their own vegetables, they start putting the excess out on their wall, saying, please take. these are just little things, but I think they're kind of getting the cogs going in people's
are.
minds and
You're
thinking,
right.
well, I don't have to, you know, I don't have to have an app for this and an app for that,
Yeah.
etc. But I am concerned quite a bit about young people because they seem to be constantly absorbed on their phones when they're out and about, to such an extent that sometimes I feel like going, get off your phone. But, you know, obviously don't.
Well, it's a bit like, it depends who the children are, but I know with my grandchildren, I limit how long they can be on it for, and I do let them go on it a little bit. And to some extent, part of the reason I do that is because that helps me to actually hear some of the stuff that they're listening to. So I've learned quite a lot from that, of what they are being sort of exposed to. Like, even there was a Peppa Pig thing the other day, not a cartoon Peppa Pig, but one of these houses that they have the little dolls, and they were trying to demonise them home education. And so that helps me to have some little discussions, but also to know what they've been exposed to. So thank you, Carrie. Right, did Prakash, had you finished?
Well, sorry to take up the time, but just very quickly, having said about, you know, non-digital, we hopefully at Loveland, we are hopefully trying to get a little music video together, and it's about the circular economy and about not wasting things. And I've written a little song, got some people together and children involved as well up at Loveland. So I'm hoping it's going to be successful, and we'll video it and then see what happens.
Good. And if you can share it with us, yeah.
Yes,
We'll
yes,
put
of
it out.
course.
We will put it out, definitely.
Yeah. So I'll keep you posted on that. So sorry to take up your time.
No,
Yeah.
that's lovely. Thank you.
We did say we would have some time without the session being recorded.
Yeah, does
so
Roger
Has
want to
Prakash
say anything
finished?
before?
Did Prakash finish?
Well, he's put his microphone.
Yeah, I have. I mean, I think the essence of what I think I was saying is that I sense that we're on the threshold of a whole load of new behaviours born out of the fact that the old stuff isn't working and isn't serving us, and we have to find stuff that does serve us. And so whether it's in health, you know, because I've had 2 health scares in the last year, and I've understood the health system and my body so much more as a concept. It's turned into a gift, actually, having these 2 health scares, because I've had to do my own research and find out and start again. And money, growing food, whatever it is, in every area, we almost have to reinvent and come back to basics, really, on that stuff. And that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
And this is where I would say my role as a patient and public voice with the NHS since 2010, they have deliberately demonised complementary therapies, and I keep getting out there and mentioning it, and I keep in there because they need to keep hearing our voices. And the more people that can access complementary therapies, please do, and please keep telling people that you are. Okay?
Cool.
Okay.
Roger, do you want to say something else? You got your hand up.
Yes, you seem to be enjoying yourself too much, so I've got to bring you down to earth. So that means we've got to talk about law. And I'm involved, as you know, with Will Keat. And Will Keat is promoting trial by jury, which is part of the Constitution. Now, you would think that it would be very easy to get a copy of the Constitution. Think again. I have been researching this. The best that Will Keat could come up with is that it's in little bits here and there, picking a bit from here and a bit from there, you know? And so I listened to Jonathan Sumption, Lord Jonathan Sumption, the other day, and he made things very clear. There is no written constitution. It's all in the head of the Supreme Court judges. And Jonathan Sumption has got no inclination towards having anything written down. So they want it all secret. That's what they want. They want it secret. They don't want any of it written down.
But Roger, that's
So,
why they didn't want people to learn to read and write and do number work.
well, absolutely, absolutely. Anyway, it's not all negative because I have decided that I've got to somehow get something in writing myself, not relying on anybody else. Well, yeah, to some extent, I do rely on some other people. We all do. But it seems to me that most of the Constitution is contained in the Magna Carta 1215, mainly. Okay. So if we can get a copy of the Magna Carta 1215, which must be very, very easy, you know, one of the most famous documents in the whole world, must be easy to get that. Think again. You try and get a copy of the Magna Carta. There are actually only 4 in existence, and the one which is nearest to me, and I'm talking about actual copies, you know,
Yeah,
not transcripts. The one that's nearest to me is in Lincoln Cathedral. But so one, well, I've been on the phone today, and of course I got the answer phone, and you know, I asked them to call me back, which they haven't done. I'll try again tomorrow, but I hope that I might be able to get a copy from there. But we can't go anywhere with promoting.
it's really
Pardon?
difficult to read if you manage
Well, I
to,
know it's in old English.
and the script is just so hard as well. I can't hardly make a word out on it. But
Well, have you got a copy?
no, I've looked at it, and I was looking at it going, I might as well be trying to read. In fact, I have read a similar script in Germany, and I think I understood more of that. You know, from I think I was reading a bit of Grimm's Tales, and it was in German, and it was in an old script, and I understood more of that than I did the Magna Carta when I tried to read it. It's
So where did you find the Magna Carta to read the bit that you did?
just Lincoln Cathedral.
Oh, you went to Lincoln Cathedral.
Yeah, but I've seen it also in there. I think they've got a copy in the House of Commons, haven't they? I think I saw one there. But
Well, there's a
Just
copy in the British Library, I think.
really hard script to read. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I mean, people must have done it and must have managed to transcribe it and get it.
Well, you know, I was an English teacher for quite a long time in my life, so I'm quite good at figuring out, you know, words that people are wanting to say that are not clearly pronounced or written. So I'm quite good. I think I could probably make sense of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
but-
Roger, well, if you can get hold of it and share it, that would be great. I'm just conscious of time. It's 7 o'clock. We did say that we would have some time after the call for anyone who didn't want to be recorded. So thank you, everyone, for coming on. And I'm going to switch the recording button off now.
if we can find it, I can't actually see it.
It's up there.
oh,
So, and we will see you again in a month's time, and we will confirm what the time is, whether we're going to do it on Tuesdays at 6 or whether we're going to revert to Thursdays at 12. We'll
We'll sort
confirm.
out, yeah.
We'll let you know. So I'm going to switch the recording off now.